Hey, good morning. Jocelyn here with Boundless Pursuits Coaching and Trading, ready for a barbell-based leg day. Now, don't fear or bail if you don't have barbells at home. That is totally fine. You can substitute the barbell exercises by using dumbbells or kettlebells. So no worries. And if you do have barbells, you can follow along with those at home as well. So welcome to another session. This will be our sole live session this week because I'm traveling again for baseball. And guys, the end is coming to, baseball with this child of mine. For years, you kind of bittersweet. We love our kids' sports, but at the same time, they definitely get in the way of things, and then all of a sudden it's over. And I'm feeling that coming now, and so now I'm kind of hanging on tight. It's funny how we take for granted things until they're about to end, and then we realize, gotta enjoy them. Gotta enjoy them more. I'm trying to remember, I was having a thought. I know what it was. Hard Rock 100 was this past weekend, and I was watching it and reflecting on last year when I had the opportunity to participate in that race. And really the honor or rarity, like the rarity of the opportunity to be a part of that event was kind of giving me all the feels. As I watched, and feeling a little bit of regret for not pushing harder in the moment to finish that race. I didn't finish it last year. I got to, I think, mile 85 and I timed out. But I'll be honest, my mind had checked out the section prior, knowing that I was not going to make the next aid station. And in hindsight, I feel like I wish I had fought more for it. In the moment, I know, and this is the flip side to that, I know that at the time I did not have that fight in me. I just didn't. I was running on fumes, and sometimes you can fight and sometimes you can't. But the point of me sharing that is the regret you can sometimes feel later. That you didn't try harder, that you didn't push more, that you didn't dig deeper, right? And you don't find that in you to appreciate in the moment how lucky you are instead of sort of quitting in the moment. Anyway, that's what I've been feeling the last couple days, and it was a good reminder that when you're, I don't want to use the word suffering, but when you are uncomfortable or maybe not appreciating something in the moment, can you find it in you to take a step back and find the appreciation for that thing that maybe you're resenting in the moment? So like maybe it's working out right now, right? Maybe you're not feeling it. Maybe you had to drag yourself in here to do this today. Maybe you had to drag your butt out for your run this morning, like I did. Instead, try to find the opposite of how you're feeling, which is maybe gratitude for the fact that you maybe are able physically to do it where other people may not. My husband is a great example, and sometimes I try to use him to feel that gratitude and that appreciation a bit more, because as some of you know, he had an accident at work in early April where he broke his top of his tibia, and he broke it bad, and his leg, is, we call him Elephant Man. All right, we're gonna add a hop here, optional hop. If you want to keep it at low impact marching, you can, or you can add the hop with me, because the injured leg is like twice the size of the healthy leg, and it's been about 13 weeks since the accident, I think 14 weeks almost since the accident, and almost 13 weeks since the surgery, and the swelling is it is no joke. We had a doctor's visit yesterday. The doctor said The reality of what your leg is going to be going forward is yet to be determined. It may take 12 to 18 months before we really know what that leg is going to be like. The swelling is still really significant and not really coming down. And the doctor said it was a severe injury. Anyway, so the point of all that is, sometimes I tell myself, you know, I can do things that there's people who can't and would love to have the option to be able to do what I maybe am begrudging in that moment, right? And so because, again, like to use my feelings this past weekend watching people at Hard Rock, it was a really rare opportunity that I may never get again. And did I make the most of it? You know, I guess what you have to give yourself grace for is, yeah, I think I did in the moment do everything I could. But looking back, I wish I had been able to find the oomph and dug a little deeper and made myself work through that. So, but that's a lesson, you know, going forward into other things that we choose to do in our lives that we, you know, maybe fires us up or fuels us going forward, that, you know, we're gonna raise the bar next time a little higher, right? Anyway, I don't know where that came from this morning, but if you are new, if you're joining me for the first time, I want to welcome you and I want to congratulate you for being here. I want to encourage you to raise that bar and to keep raising that bar every time you come, and know that there is no limit to where that bar can go. It's really up to you to decide where you want to get to, and that comes with increased awareness as we go through life. Just another sort of little aha that I experienced yesterday when we were at the hospital. You know, such a different environment to be in. It's not an environment that's familiar to me, and it made me, there's a little stone here that I'm dumping on, made me realize how different, you know, our worlds are from each other, right? Like, we each have our own little world of familiarity and routine and comfort, and there's people who live incredibly different lives than us that we can't even begin to imagine or comprehend. And just the knowledge of that makes you realize how small and insignificant you are in the grand scheme of things, right? So, you know, watching the doctors and the nurses and even the like management staff of the hospital, like thinking, man, what a different world this is from my world, different life these people have from what I live. And just made me curious, that's all. But, you know, the long and short is to remember that your reality is really just created through your perceptions. It's not the reality. It's merely your reality. And if for whatever reason your reality is not satisfactory to you at this particular time, you can change it, right? All it takes is the awareness that there's so much more out there beyond what you currently know. Anyway, so there's that. Wow, we're getting deep today. But I want to encourage you that I think one of the most empowering things to remember is that you have so much more control than you ever even know that you have over anything in life that you want to be different. You know, whether it's your health, your strength, your fitness, your mental health, your financial situation, your relationships. Ultimately, you know, it all boils back to you, and you have. Sometimes we feel powerless, right? Like, because there's so much that we don't have control over in our life. Like, you know, do we ultimately have a lot of control over who's prime minister, who is, you know, making decisions? You know, we have one little itty bitty vote in terms of it, right? But one person can create a trickle effect so broad that, you know, you got to remember that ultimately you always have choice. And if nothing else, you have choice over how you choose to respond to things or perceive things. One choice I have right now is to turn this fan so it's blowing on me, because what a game changer that is. All right, make sure you're drinking today because it is hot. Well, it is hot where I am. It was pouring rain this morning on my run. Can I just tell you guys too, like I had the most harrowing run this morning. Those who know me know that I have a phobia of frogs. And it was prime frog weather this morning. All right, so I am starting with my bar. You guys, I'm gonna throw a couple weights on here because this is the lighter bar. You guys can start with whatever set of dumbbells, kettlebells that you happen to have handy. We're gonna do a warm-up set first, as we like to do when we're doing our barbells. So I'm going to do a set with just the bar and the light weight, and then I'm going to add some weight. And we're going to do our sets of, sets of 8s today. Sets of 8s. Now, again, if you're restricted with the weights that you have handy to you, you can do 10 or even 12 reps. Okay, so we're starting with just a nice warm-up set. Whew, tight legs here. 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, and 8. Now, if you have a decently heavy dumbbell or kettlebell or weight plate, you can do goblet style squats. What I do with my ladies in my class is I have them do 2 dumbbells, because I can two 25-pound dumbbells are going to give you 50 pounds. It's a lot easier, I find, to pick those up than one 50-pound kettlebell. So, you know, if you have 20 pounds, 25, 30s, you can grab hold of them and hold them like this. You can do some nice heavy squats, hold them on your shoulders. And I find sometimes when we get into heavier weights, the harder part is to actually lift them up or hold them. This is why I like the barbells. Okay, so we're going to do a set of 5 now. I've gone up in weight. 5, 4, 3, 2, and 1. Okay. Now I add a little bit more weight, and this will be our actual working weight. We're going to aim for sets of 8 here. We're going to do 3 rounds of 8. Again, if you don't have a barbell, make do with whatever you have, and do really any type of squats, but what we want to aim for is heavy. Now, having said that, if you're new, you could start with even air squats or light weights. You don't want to necessarily pile on the heavy weights until you're really used to the movements. Okay, so we want to nail down the movements first. We also want to kind of like readjust your body to like lifting before we pile on the weights. But if you've been working out for a while and you are in good, decent condition and you know you're doing your squats right, challenge yourself with the weights. Ladies, we want heavy weights to stimulate muscle growth. That's what we want. I know most of us, our goal is to be toned. Okay? 8, 7, 6, 5, 4, 3, 2, and 1. Okay, I know that's what we want, but in order to be toned, we need to build muscle. In order to build muscle, we need to stimulate muscle growth. The reality is, when we hit, let's call it 30, I'm not sure when exactly, but somewhere in our 30s, we actually start to lose muscle. I believe it's 1% per year. So there's a bird coming into my garage. No, we don't want you in here. 1% a year, and that compounds over time. So if you're doing nothing to mitigate that, right? You're just, maybe you're a cardio person, or you don't even like really work out too much. You're not working at building muscle. You're losing that muscle. And then we get to the point in our like 40s where that loss, that muscle loss, 1% every year, has now compounded to the point where we feel that change in body composition. And we wake up one day in our 40s and we're like, why am I so squishy? Like, I haven't changed anything I'm doing. I'm still living the same lifestyle. I'm still eating, relatively similar foods. Why has my body changed so dramatically? And we automatically think our metabolism has plummeted, our, hormones are going crazy, which this is true too. But it's not a sudden switch. It feels like it, but it's really just the result of that small incremental change compounded over time, which can be used for us or against us. And if we're doing nothing to mitigate that muscle loss, we're allowing nature to just deteriorate our body composition, right? Our muscle mass, and reduce us to very little muscle mass and more non-lean body tissue on our body. 8, 7, 6, 5, 4, 3, 2, 1. I know when I was younger, I was quite terrified. Well, when I was really young, I wanted muscle because I wasn't really very muscular. Then I put on the muscle and like, I don't want this muscle. I'm too sturdy and stocky looking. I want to be tiny. I want to be small. I want to be lithe. Yeah, when you're 5'3", there's no lithe. I don't even know if I'm saying that word right, but I wanted the Pilates physique. No, not when you're 5'3", 5'2". But a couple years ago, I thought to myself, I'm very inspired by an ultra runner. Her name's Sally McRae. She's very muscular. And I don't know, there's something about her that I really resonates with me, and I relate to her, and I long to be strong like her. And she inspired me to embrace the muscle as a female runner. And now I'm a little bit muscle, but it changed my body so drastically, allowing myself to embrace that muscle, and fat kind of just melted off me. 8, 7, 6, 5, 4, 3, 2, and 1. Ultimately, one thing I would encourage you to know or to understand is that, like, we have genetics that somewhat predetermine our body shape, size, composition, right? Somewhat. Not entirely. But, like, you have a basic body shape that doesn't change whether you put on 50 pounds or you lose 50 pounds. You have the same basic shape, right? Okay, I'm going to actually dumbbells next. Okay, so we're gonna do front lunges. It's gonna work on our quads, ladies. You wanna wear shorts. My son and I talk about this all the time, wearing short shorts. He's like, you gotta have the legs to wear short shorts. As a guy, as a dude. Okay, so what we're doing is we're gonna use, you can use a small step like this. You could use a weight plate just to create a very tiny incline, and we're gonna do lunges. Okay, so I'm gonna grab my 25s, and we're gonna do 8 per side. Okay, so front leg. Now if you're new, you're just starting, or if this bothers your knees, 2, 3, skip the step, just do flat lunges. 5, 6, 7, and 8. Other side. This raise of the front leg is going to target your quads a little bit more. So if you're feeling that in your knees, that's why. Usually when the knee bothers you, it's pertaining to a tight quad. 3, I shouldn't say usually, often. 2, last one, 1. When that quad gets tight, it can pull on the knee. So sometimes these sometimes will bother me when my quads are excessively tight. Take a little break, let that heart rate come down, and we're going to do another set. Heart rate is up today because of the weather. I'm kind of laughing at my colorful board here happening right now because all the kids have all their workouts on here. I have 3 boys and a daughter. My daughter was away for the month. She's just back. She's training for her first 50-kilometer trail race. Okay, so try to start with the leg you finished with if you happen to remember. Okay, ready? So 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7. Try to keep those hips even. Make sure they're not out of whack. They're side by side. 8, 7, 6, 5, 4, 3, 2, and 1. Okay, we've got one more round of those. So she's got her workout on the board. I've got my class workouts on the board. The boys have their charts. Their workouts over here. All right, we're going to do one more set. All right. 8. Whoop, lost my balance there. 7, 6, 5, 4, 3. Make sure you can see that toe. 2, 1. Out in front of your knee. You don't want your knee sliding forward past your toe. 8, 7, 6, 5, 4, 3, 2, and 1. Whew, okay. We're going to do some more lunges. We're going to do the split lunges the other way this time. Actually, I lied. We're going to do our deadlifts first. So I have my barbell ready here to go to do heavy deadlifts. Today, I have this ready. Had my class doing these yesterday. Now, I'm going to give you a couple options, assuming that you don't have a barbell. You can use a kettlebell, or you can use 2 dumbbells, whatever you have. What we're going to do is pull the weight from the ground. So normally, or often what we do in here is we do RDLs, where we start with the weights and we lean down. With this, we're going to lean down and pull off the ground. Okay, so this is a pulling. Can you guys hear that? It's a good one today. All right, ready? So we're going to start. I'm going to start with a set of 5 because I'm actually going to increase the weight. Okay, so one thing I want you to make sure is the bar or the weights are right close to your legs. You essentially want to drag the weight up your leg. You don't want it hanging out in front. So you want the weight here and your butt sitting back. Chest is out. Always chest is out. Narrow stance, not wide. You're going to do a nice narrow stance, and we're going to pull the bar up. So 5, 4, 3, 2, 1. Okay, so I'm going to add some weight to that. Wish I could remember what I lifted last week. I should have written it down. I will tell you, this is one of my favorite ways to strengthen the core, is through heavy barbell deadlifts. Okay, we're going to do a set of 8. Okay, now if your weight is not challenging you at all, go to 10 or even 12. Okay, so you got to account for the lack of heaviness with reps, if that's the case. Okay, ready? 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8. Woo, feeling that one. Okay, what I'm going to do, I'm going to do another set of 8, and then I'm going to put on more weight and do a set of 5. That's what I'm going to do today. So you should be feeling that really right into your glutes, your hamstrings, but possibly like the lower back a little bit. We don't want your lower back to be hurting. If it's hurting, you are either pulling with a rounded back or your core's not engaged. You want to really flatten out. You should feel it through here. And I do. I really do. All right. I'm not going to count out loud for the next one. So count your own reps and focus. Ready? Feel really good today in terms of mechanically speaking. They are challenging. I can feel those. I'm going to feel it tomorrow. I start my long drive to Cleveland. We have one more one more set to go here. Oh, one more drink here. I decided yesterday, you know how we get like a massive heat wave and everyone starts complaining with the heat, and then somebody posts on social media, just remember 6 months from now you'll be buried in snow, blah, 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 whatever. I decided I have full reign to complain in 1 month of each season. Like 1 month, so January and July are the two, oh my God, let's just survive this seasons. You know, you like winter to a degree until you get the dog days of winter, and then there's the dog days of summer, right? So I figure I'm allowed to complain a little bit in July because I'm fine in June and August, okay? So you can't complain all summer, but I feel like the July is the antithesis of January, or whatever, February if you hate February. Okay, 5, I'm doing 5. Okay, that was good, you guys. I'm trying to count what that was. 50, 60, 70, 80, 90, 135. Not bad, you guys. I mean, okay, we're gonna do some hamstring curls and glute work next. So if you have a ball, a stability ball, that's what we're gonna go to. If you do not have a stability ball, that's okay. You can do glute bridges on the floor. This is called a quality workout right here. Grab my mat and my ball. So we're gonna do, I had my class do these last night. They were like, oh, owie, owie, owie. Yes, owie, owie, owie. I always lose my socks on these two. Okay, so we're gonna do set of 10 to start. Okay, so you want your feet kind of mid, like at the top of the ball, coming up and curling in 10, 9, 8, 7, 6, 5, 4, 3, 2, last one. Okay. And now we're going to do glute bridges singles. So 10, right, sorry, 8 per side. Ready? 8, 7, 6, 5, 4, 3, 2, and 1. Other side. 8, 7, 6, 5, 4, 3, 2, 1. Okay, we're going to add a set of butterfly glute bridges. This is one of the exercises we currently have in our Iron Core 2024. So we're going to do 10, 9, 8, 7, 6, 5, 4, 3, 2, 1. So I like these because they promote a little bit of mobility at the hips, and then they target the glutes as well. Okay, so that's going to be our final circuit before we do a little bit of core if we have time. If you feel a Charlie horse coming on with those hamstring curls, because that is a real possibility. Do 2 sets of 5 even instead of 1 set of 10. That's kind of one of the things we did last night to modify for our class, is broke it up into smaller. Now if you don't have a ball, you can just be doing glute bridges with both legs and then do the singles, okay? Ready? Butt up, 8, 7, sorry, that's 10, 9, 8, 7, 6, 5, 4, 3, 2, and 1. Okay? It's like I can feel a little bit of a cramping, sensation wanting to come along, but it's okay. Ready? 8, 7. Try to keep those hips stacked beside each other. 5, 4, 3, 2, 1. So picture a rod going through the hips. So they're on like a spool, not a spool, like a rod going through, so that they can't shift. They got to stay in line with one another. Does that make sense? 8, 7, 6, 5, 4, 3, 2. If you put your thumbs there, that can remind you, make you mindful of the hips staying stacked. Okay, stacked beside each other so they're not doing this. Okay, and then 10, 9, 8, 7, 6, 5, 4, 3, 2, 1. It's very cozy weather, isn't it, this storm? Wasn't so cozy running in it this morning. It was cozy thinking about it. Did I finish my frog story? So, okay, here's the backstory to the frogs. When I was in high school, there was this massive frog, bigger than my fist, that used to sit at the front door when I would come home from being out. And it was I hated it. It was terrifying. Anyway, I think that's where my frog phobia maybe started. I hate frogs. I literally scream like I saw a grizzly bear when I see a frog. I'm sort of adjusted to them to some degree when they're moderate in size. But so the first one I saw this morning was, I would say a medium size, but it was bright green, and it scared me. I did not see it until I was right on top of it, and so I screamed. Then about 20 minutes later, there was literally the exact frog that I used to see in high school. It was enormous, so bloated. Oh, I can still see it in my head, and I have nightmares tonight of it was so big, just facing me on the trail, watching me come towards it, not remotely concerned, stared me down. I screamed so loud. My heart rate was so high for the rest of the run, and I was terrified of another one, appearing. It was awful, you guys. It was really awful. My friend Kathy's afraid of snakes. She always thinks it's a snake. I'm like, it's not a snake. I would not scream like that about a snake. Snakes don't bother me. 8, 7, 6, 5, 4, 3, 2, 1. When I ran my first 200-mile race a couple years ago at Bigfoot in Washington, there was a section of trail. My brother-in-law, who I did not know very well, I'd only met him once or twice, was pacing me. 7, 6, it was through the night. 4, 3, 2, and it was the night of the frogs. And these frogs were like chipmunks. They were huge. And they would be in the middle of the trail trying to crawl up the side of the trail. It was a very rutted trail, almost like a V-shaped trail. And they would be climbing up the sides and slipping back. And I screamed, and he didn't know. He thought I saw like a wild animal or something. Because we're out in the middle of like really remote trail. I'm like, no, I'm sorry, I should have warned you. I have a frog phobia. They were enormous. Like they were these massive, but they weren't like fat and bloated. They were like long. They were very chipmunk-like in size. Let's do 5, 4, 3, 2, 1. This one was like a big blob. And those are the ones I especially need. All right, let's finish with some Pilates 100s. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10. 2, 2, 3, 4, 5. 3, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10. Back is pressed to the ground. 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10. 5, 4, 3, 2, 1. Oops, 5, 4, 3, 2, 1. Keep it here. 5, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10. Dropping it down. 4, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10. Dropping it down. 3, 2, 3, 4, 5, 7, 8, 9, 10. Dropping it down. Dropping down last set. 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10. Hugging it in. Okay, we're going to do our bicycles and Russian twists next. Ready? 50 of each, and then we're done, guys. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10. 2, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10, 3, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10, 5, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10. Did I miscount those? I felt like I just kind of skipped to 5 somehow. Okay, Russian twist. Last 50 reps and we're done. Ready? 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10. 2, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10. 3, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10. 4, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10. 5, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10. Woo! Way to go, you guys. Thanks for joining me. I will see you all next week. Have an awesome week. Keep raising that bar.